Here's my update, March 2022 for Calculus 2. The last time that I showed this notebook, all there was in it was this very first page. Since then, I've taken notes for all of Chapter 5, which has a lot of applications, rotations of solids, surface area of rotations, volume of rotation. I thought they were interesting problems, but I need to go back and redo this material at some later date. I got some of the problems right the first time. Some I really had to think hard and had to go back. It's very geometrical, and my geometry is a little weaker than it should be, even though I spent a lot of time teaching my son basic geometry during the pandemic, which is really what began me getting back into math. But yeah, I understand the tricks of how to solve the problems, but I'm missing that final oomph of really understanding it where I can just knock them out. I did not knock them out. I did them, I got many of them right, I got many of them almost right, and a couple completely wrong when I checked the answers. And that did not make me satisfied. Yes, this time around with calculus, I want to learn more of the theory, more of the proofs of the theorems. So the applications, whenever I see an application chapter, I'm like, oh, all right, fine, I'll do them. And so I kind of did them, not in the best positive attitude, but I still did a ton of work. So yeah, you see, I just wouldn't get them right. I was close. I kept getting close, but then I forgot to do this other piece. So then I tried it again, and I got close, but not good enough. So these problems, I think they're difficult just because I'm not interested in them. But also they're difficult because you have to set up an integral, and there's many ways for the integral calculation to go wrong. There's just a lot of little details of how you take these things like, when you square y to the third plus something y to the minus 3, then you get a little half left over, for example. You just have to figure out how to set it up correctly. And it's all about setting it up. Once you set it up, it's just the mechanics of solving the integral. But I need to go back and really understand the geometry better. So this chapter is definitely a revisit for a later time. Even though I did a ton of work and I solved, I did get problems right. So of course the evens, I'll never know whether I got them right or wrong. But judging by how I did with the odd ones, I'm not satisfied with the result. I would get close, but I'd be like, okay, I missed something. I didn't really set it up exactly right. So that's chapter 5, and I did finish. At some point I was like, all right, I've done enough of this chapter. I'm calling victory, moving on. And then I've started 6, and 6 is going much better. The problems are not in here, but I've already done a bunch of problems in chapter 6. I just haven't finished covering the material. But when it comes to application sections that are really engineering based, which is not what I'm going to in this round, I think in some sections I'm just going to cover them, read them, do 1 or 2 problems, and move on. When a section I believe is really important for me to understand in gory detail, I'll do all the problems. And all the beginning, chapter 6, I've worked out almost all the problems of all these sections. Left some for later, but I know that I plan to work out almost all the problems. And of course, once I get to the awesome chapter 7, which is really where all the fun integrals are, that's when I plan to go crazy, just like I went crazy on number theory, chapter 3. So there you have it. That's my progress on calculus. On my way to finishing chapter 6, and then I'll start chapter 7. I think I'm still doing about a chapter a month, which should put me to the end of the book by the end of this year. And we shall see. We shall see how that plays out. The beauty of self-teaching is that you can adapt. The bad thing about it, of course, is that you're going to have to take all this coursework again with a real mathematician at some point. I know I will. But I really like being able to just change course as I need Nobody's waiting for me to give me an exam. I don't have to go home for, because I got to clear out of the dorms. I'm some old dude working, out there. And so, yeah, I like that I can take each course and switch gears very quickly from one course to the other. If I get bored, I'll jump on another course. I do think that doing 2 courses would have been more efficient, but I like doing 3. I like having a third course that any one of the 3 courses can fall into a pattern where I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a little bit, but I'm having too much fun with this other course. So there are 3 courses that I could be having a lot of fun with at any time. And almost never are all 3 stuck in like a chapter 5 calculus situation where I'm like, okay, it's in the book. I want to do the book cover to cover. I'm not really interested in these problems. They're there for a very specific purpose for engineering students, and I'm not going to try to do engineering. I already did it. I shouldn't say I already did it, but I already did my engineering degree, and so I'm interested in doing something else now. So very rarely that's going to happen. So usually what happens is if I'm doing chapter 5 in calculus, which is not that much fun, it wasn't. I just had to just do as much of it as I thought was reasonable for a first pass. But this also fell when I was doing Fermat's little theorem in number theory, and I was having a lot of fun with that. And so, yeah, that's what I like. So yeah, back to the self-teaching. Generally, I think 3 courses is a good mix. Just have, at any one time, you're focusing on 1 or 2, and the third one is kind of like lagging, but then you pick it up again. And I like that rhythm. Okay, so that is Calculus 2, and a little commentary about the whole business of self-teaching multiple courses while having a full-time job.